1740 Eastern Time on June 21st, 2025. A 30,000-pound chunk of hardened steel and explosives fell through the Iranian night at 700 miles per hour. In exactly 43 seconds, the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator will punch through 200 feet of reinforced concrete and granite on its way to make the newest parking lot in Iran. The Fordo Nuclear Enrichment Facility, buried so deep that conventional bombs might as well be firecrackers, is about to learn firsthand why Americans don't have free healthcare. How exactly this bomb ended up here is a testament to the most amazing and well-choreographed military operations in over 20 years. 18 hours
Guys, this video is so nice. You know, sometimes when you react on a video and you have an idea of what you already saw about the video and then you did not know how it happened, it makes it even better, right? Because a few months back, this happened in Iran. We saw it in the news, but we did not know what happened in the background. And now they're taking us behind the curtains, behind the cameras, for us to see what the Iranians saw firsthand. Okay, it's always the people who receive that know exactly what happened, and the people who donated that know what happened. Us, the other people, we just know that, oh, it happened, maybe why it happened, but we don't know how it happened. And this is exactly how, and I'm here for it. I want to know, because I imagine Iran, few months before their army chief of staff came out with riding beside missiles in underground missile cities, showing their drone, threatening how they're going to attack the United States. They will give a terrible response if there's an attack and things like that. And the president, Donald Trump, basically said, well, we will show you how to find out. Okay, guys, thank you if you are just joining my channel for the first time. I am an African dude reacting on American technology, American stories, and American everything, okay? Everything American, and some around the world, but for now, mostly American. You are welcome. For those who have been here, I salute you. Thank you guys so much. Please, if you can subscribe, please do. If you're watching my video and you want to support me, please watch the ads on the videos so I can get cash. And if you don't want to watch the ads, you can also donate or join my channel membership. I am trying to save up and get a microphone. See what I use, which is the video audio quality is not that good, and I'm trying to get a good laptop. Yes, so that's what I'm trying to do, and do almost a lot, because paying house rent here is like, house rent is $80, yes, per month, and to pay it is still a big problem, a very big problem for me. So paying for a year, that like it's about $600, yes, for a year. No, it's not. It's about times 10. It's about $800 and something like that. So yes, it's very hard, I can tell you that. So guys, please, if you can support in any way, just do. I'll be very grateful. Let's go back and see.
earlier, the ground crew at Whitman Air Force Base works frantically around this aircraft, one of only 19 operational B-2s in existence. Each bomber costs $2.1 billion. That's billion with a B, making it literally worth more than its weight in gold. The crew chief runs through the pre-flight checklist. 14 GBU-57 mops loaded on rotary launchers. Conformal fuel tanks topped off with 180,000 pounds of JP-8, and the APQ-181 radars in each bird are in full stealth mode. At 001 Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, June 21st, the first B-2 rolls down Whitman's 12,400-foot runway. The Spirit's 4 General Electric F-118 engines produce 17,300 pounds of thrust each. Whisper quiet compared to conventional jets, but still powerful enough to lift 336,500 pounds of airplane and ordnance right into the night sky. The pilot maintains a shallow takeoff profile to minimize the infrared signature. Even friendly satellites shouldn't see too much. But not all of these B-2s are destined for Iran tonight. 7 B-2s would launch eastward toward Iran, while another group headed west toward the Pacific. The deception was simple but brilliant. Russian and Chinese satellites tracking the westbound group would report B-2 movements toward Guam, creating diplomatic noise and intelligence confusion. Meanwhile,
I remember people or the news saying 7 B-2s have been launched towards Guam, and over here it was already midnight, and around midnight then I saw that. I went to sleep. I was like, last time they went to Guam and they were there for weeks, maybe a week or so, and then they had to not be seen on satellite again. So probably just one of those negotiating tactics by the president. And basically, no, something else was happening.
Real strike package ghosted eastward into the Atlantic darkness. The Atlantic crossing is where things start to get a bit sporty. B-2s can fly 6,000 nautical miles without refueling, but that's with internal fuel only. The conformal tanks add range but also drag, cutting that to about 4,500 miles. From Missouri to Iran and back, that's 14,200 miles. The math doesn't work without tankers. The first aerial refueling happens around 0400 over the mid-Atlantic. Now, connecting a refueling probe in daylight is like threading a needle. At night, in turbulence, with both aircraft flying at 400 knots, that's like threading a needle while riding a mechanical bull in a dark closet. The boom operator extends the flying boom from the KC-135 tanker. The B-2 pilot has to maintain an exact position, 30 feet behind, 15 feet below, with 0 lateral deviation. One tiny mistake can cause irreparable damage that causes this bomber to divert back home. Because of this, the pilot flies with surgical precision, taking on fuel at a rate of 1,000 pounds per minute, while the boom operator sweats bullets despite the freezing stratosphere outside. By 15:30 Eastern Standard Time, after 2 more refuelings and 15.5 hours of flight, the strike package approaches Iraqi airspace, and this is where the real fun begins. 4
Doing refueling at night, I've always wondered how this guy managed to bring 2 jets together and transfer fuel between them. And at night, and not doing it only once, then flying for 15 hours. It's not even 15 hours, I think it's above 30 hours that these guys flew. How do they even get to be flying for that long without sleeping? How do you stay up for so long and you're still accurate? This is what is called totally American. Only one country in this world can perform this. Only one. Only one country can do this. Nobody can go out of their borders thousands of kilometers away and perform this.
F-22 Raptors materialize from what seems like an empty sky. They're APG-77 radars, painting everything within 200 miles, while remaining virtually invisible themselves. The lead Raptor pilot checks in with brevity codes that would sound like gibberish to anyone listening. Disco 47, sweet, picture clean, no factor. Translation, the skies ahead are clear of threats. These 4 F-22s you see escorting these bombers are pure air superiority, loaded with 6 AMRAAMs and 2 Sidewinders each, ready to splash any Iranian fighter brave enough to take off. Behind them, 8 F-35s bring up the rear. The Iranian Air Force might be decent, but against 2 squadrons of 5th-generation fighters, they might as well stay home. At 18:39 local time, the lead B-2 begins its attack run. The pilot enables the GPS-aided targeting system, which talks to multiple satellites simultaneously to achieve accuracy within 5 feet. The rotary launcher in the forward weapons bay spins up, positioning the first MOP for release. Below, the Fordo facility sits under 300 feet of mountain, protected by granite that's been here since before humans invented the wheel.
Wow.
In about 60 seconds, the U.S. military will change up the geography a bit. But these are not the only units dropping warheads on foreheads this evening. 2 hours earlier at 1700 East.
That warheads on foreheads is signature. The fat electrician. That's the fat electrician's signature statement. Okay. Yeah, I like him. I like this narrator. What is it? An AI auto-generated voice. But the person behind the script knows what the hell they're talking about. That's America.
Eastern Standard Time, 1,200 miles from where the B-2s are approaching Iranian airspace. The captain stands in the control room of a guided missile submarine, probably the USS Georgia, and watches the digital countdown on the tactical display. The Georgia isn't like any other submarine in the world. Originally built as an Ohio-class ballistic missile submarine carrying nuclear-tipped tridents, she was converted into an SSGN, a guided missile submarine at a cost of $700 million. Where she once carried 24 nuclear ballistic missiles, she now packs 154 Tomahawk land attack missiles.
No. How many? 154? Guys, what? These guys are not. No, this is not true. 154 missiles in a submarine. Where are they entering?
That's more cruise missile firepower than an entire carrier strike group's complement of DDGs and cruisers can carry. The Tomahawk Block 5 in Georgia's vertical launch tubes represents 40 years of evolution in cruise missile technology. Each missile costs $2 million and can deliver a 1,000-pound warhead up to 1,500 miles away with accuracy measured in inches, not yards. At periscope depth, about 60 feet below the surface, the Georgia is vulnerable. Her AN/BBS-1 photonics mast breaks the surface like a metallic periscope, creating a radar return that any competent operator should spot. But the Iranians are looking in the wrong place. Their coastal radars are focused on the Persian Gulf's narrow waters, not the deeper waters where the Georgia lurks. However, launching missiles from underwater isn't like a video game. Each Tomahawk sits in a canister filled with high-pressure gas. When the launch command arrives, an explosive charge breaks the canister seal, and gas pressure literally shoots the missile out of the tube like a cork from a champagne bottle. The missile breaks the surface at 50 feet per second until the solid rocket booster ignites and sends it climbing into the night sky. But Newton's third law is a...
Look at this. Look at the inside of this plane. Let me just sideline a bit, okay, guys. Look at the inside of a submarine. It looks like a futuristic airship, like those sci-fi movie spaceships like that. And the sailors are young, bro. I want to ask a question. If you're a foreigner, can you still serve on American submarines? Like, if this is an option, I'm definitely doing it. I will find a way to do it. I love these things. But I don't love war, though. Like, I don't like war. Basically, we don't choose to fight sometimes, but, well, we have to defend ourselves.
Harsh mistress. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. When you punch a 3,000-pound missile out of a submarine, the submarine wants to go the other direction, down. The ballast control team must compensate in real time, pumping water between trim tanks to maintain the desired depth. Too slow and the submarine broaches, showing itself to every radar within 50 miles. Too fast and she plunges below safe operating depth. At 16:05 Eastern Time, the first Tomahawk erupts from the ocean's surface. The solid rocket booster burns for 12 seconds, accelerating the missile to 550 miles per hour while climbing to cruise altitude. The booster falls away and the Williams F-107 turbofan engine takes over, basically a miniature jet engine that pushes the missile at high subsonic speed. By 16:06, all 30 missiles are airborne. Each missile's AN/DPW-23 radar altimeter maintains precise height above terrain, sometimes as low as 100 feet, while the guidance system compares stored satellite imagery with what it's actually seeing. It's like having Google Maps that can't be jammed, spoofed, or confused. The flight time to Isfahan from here is 127 minutes. That timing isn't random. It's precisely calculated to arrive 30 minutes before the B-2 strikes, softening air defenses and creating chaos for the main attack. While Iranian air defenses focus on the high-altitude stealth bombers, 30 sea-launched cruise missiles will be sneaking through the back door at treetop height. The captain watches as the missiles disappear over the horizon. Each one shows as a blue triangle with a countdown timer. The submarine's role in Operation Midnight Hammer is complete, but the weapons she's launched are just getting started. The Block 5's two-way satellite data link means these aren't just flying bombs. They're reconnaissance assets. As they fly toward Isfahan, they're transmitting imagery back through satellite relays, giving real-time battle damage assessment capability. The Georgia begins her descent back to patrol depth, vanishing into the thermocline where temperature differences bend sound waves and make acoustic detection nearly impossible. Above her, 30 cruise missiles are making history. But there is one more thing America has launched before the B-2 bombers enter Iranian airspace tonight. At 1600 Eastern Standard Time, a massive fighter sweep accelerates ahead of the B-2 formation. Over 60 aircraft, forming the largest coordinated sea package since Iraqi freedom. 4 F-22 Raptors lead at 50,000 feet, followed by 8 F-35As at 35,000 feet, several dozen F/A-18 Super Hornets at 25,000 feet, and 4 EA-18G Growlers bringing up the electronic warfare element. Behind them, dozens more F-18s are orbiting the Gulf, ready to go in if things get hairy, while multiple KC-135 and KC-46 tankers loiter in Iraqi airspace, and an RC-135 rivet joint aircraft vacuums up every electronic emission within 500 miles. Here's the tactical calculus that drove the loadout planning. The F-35s remained in a pure air-to-air configuration, each equipped with 4 AMRAAMs, serving as stealthy forward sensors. The real seed punch came from 3 dozen F/A-18 Super Hornets spread across multiple squadrons, with some carrying 3 HARMs, others loaded for air-to-air, and others configured for escort.
Sorry guys, let me put this in. I just want to ask, and I want to just check out if I know. HARM, a HARM missile stands for High Speed Anti-Radiation Missile, right? And so he said HARM, and I learned this from Kristen Stewart's channel about the HARM missile, that it basically hunt the radar sites. And so I heard about it here. I was like, oh, that is definitely it. Okay guys, please, as I said, please support my channel by watching the ads or joining my channel membership. I'll be very grateful. And also do subscribe. Yes, let's go.
The Super Hornet force provided considerable magazine depth, over 60 HARMs available if needed. Combined with 8 HARMs from the Growlers, the package could engage every radar in Iran twice over. But they'd only expend what they needed. The F-35s would find the radars. The Super Hornets and Growlers would take them out, while the F-22s took care of any Iranian fighters that dared to get in the way. The strike package spreads across a 60-mile front, creating overlapping fields of electronic surveillance. F-35s use their AN/ASQ-239 electronic warfare suites to passively map Iranian air defenses while remaining electromagnetically invisible. When they detect a threat, they pass targeting data via Link 16 to the Super Hornets, who can engage from standoff range without compromising the F-35's stealth. 50 miles south, the EA-18G Growlers initiate their electronic symphony. Each aircraft's 3 ALQ-99 pods pump out 30 kilowatts of jamming power across multiple bands simultaneously. Iranian radar operators watch their screens fill with false returns, phantom aircraft appearing and disappearing, ranges that shift randomly. bearings that make no sense. It's information warfare at the speed of light. At 1732, an S-300 battery near Natanz breaks emissions control. It's 30N6E2 fire control radar attempting to burn through the jamming. The moment it transmits, 3 separate aircraft have firing solutions. An F-35 detects it first through passive sensors. A Super Hornet receives the data link and launches an AGM-88G, while the Growler simultaneously targets it for reactive jamming. The harm accelerates to Mach 2.5, its millimeter wave seeker memorizing the radar's location. Even when the S-300 operators realize their mistake and shut down 15 seconds later, it's too late. The missile's GPS-INS guidance puts the 146-pound warhead within 10 meters of the radar vehicle. The explosion transforms a $100 million air defense system into burning scrap metal.
So with a harm missile, you launch it at a broadcasting radar, and even if the radar turns off, it still goes to where the radar was. I think about when I sleep, what I'm thinking is, what usually transpires in the head of the generals, these American generals, when they're planning these things? Because it's not just something they wake up in a day and like, oh, let's do this. They have done it, practiced it, and kept the plan in the books and calculated every possible way that things could go wrong and try to solve it. Talk about sophistication, guys. We're not talking about this happening in Mexico or Canada. We're talking about this happening thousands of miles from home. Talk about playing a away match. America.
The Super Hornets work in pairs, one designating targets while the wingman engages. When mobile SA-15 systems attempt to relocate, F-35 sensors track their movements through infrared signatures, vectoring the Super Hornets for quick intercepts. The integration between 4th and 5th generation fighters proves devastating. Stealth platforms serve as sensors, while legacy fighters act as shooters. By 1735, the SEAD mission had expended 31 harms, achieving an equal number of radars and SAM sites destroyed. More importantly, every surviving radar has gone silent. The psychological effect multiplies the kinetic damage. Iranian operators, trained to fear American SEAD capabilities since Desert Storm, choose survival over duty. The Growlers shift to communications jamming, targeting military frequencies from VHF through UHF bands. Ground-controlled intercept frequencies go silent. SAM site coordination channels fill with static. Even Iranian cell phone networks in the target areas experience disruption as military jammers spill over into civilian bands. The F-22s maintain high cover, their APG-77 radars searching for any brave Iranian pilot who might launch. None do. The Super Hornets, all carrying harms, orbit in boxes assigned by the mission planners. The F-35s continue their electronic surveillance, building a real-time map of every surviving air defense asset for future strikes. At 1739 Eastern Time, with the corridor sanitized and silent, the B-2s begin their run. The 125 aircraft armada has created a highway 50 miles wide and 200 miles deep where American aircraft operate with impunity. Not a single missile has been fired at coalition aircraft. Not one Iranian fighter has taken off. By 1740, the bomb bay doors of the first B-2 are opening. It's time to kick off the main event of tonight's show.
You know how I see the B-2, like, you know, when the final boss of the main character of the event now finally comes into the event. This is how this B-2 flies in, like, oh, America.
At exactly 1740 Eastern Time, the first GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator falls free from the lead B-2's weapons bay. For a moment, it hangs there in the thin air at 45,000 feet. GPS receivers acquiring satellite locks, tail fins deploying with mechanical precision. Then gravity takes over. and 30,000 pounds of hardened steel and high explosives begin its date with the laws of physics.
Yeah.
The pilot feels the aircraft jump slightly as the weight releases. The B-2's fly-by-wire system compensates instantly, but losing 30,000 pounds, about the weight of 3 school buses, creates a distinctive sensation. His weapons systems officer confirms what the instruments already show. Bird away, good separation, GPS lock confirmed. But here's the brutal mathematics of bunker busting. Kinetic energy equals half the mass times velocity squared. That mop will impact at 700 miles per hour, delivering 1.5 billion joules of energy, roughly equivalent to a freight train hitting a wall. The hardened steel penetrator, forged from the same alloys used in tank armor, will punch through 200 feet of reinforced concrete or 40 feet of solid granite. The Fordo facility sits under both. At 1740 and 43 seconds, exactly 43 seconds after release, the first mop strikes. Impact creates a localized earthquake registering 2.3 on the Richter scale. But the weapon doesn't detonate on impact. That would waste its potential. Instead, the smart fuse counts down as the penetrator bores through rock and concrete, waiting for the precise moment of maximum effect. The warhead, 5,300 pounds of tritonal explosive, detonates 180 feet underground, creating a cavity 30 feet in diameter. The overpressure wave travels through solid rock at 15,000 feet per second, finding every crack, every seam, every structural weakness. Concrete designed to withstand 10,000 psi meets forces exceeding 100,000 psi. It just doesn't crack. It literally turns to powder. But one mop isn't enough. The mission planners know this. That's why 12 are slated for Fordo. Each impact point is calculated to create overlapping shock waves, turning the mountain's strength against itself. The remaining B-2s follow in sequence, each releasing their mops at precisely calculated intervals. From the ground, it would look like artificial meteor strikes, flashes of light followed by thunder that rolls across the mountains. At Natanz, the strike profile is different. Only 2 mops target this facility because it's not as deeply buried. The weapons officers actually have to delay the release to ensure proper spacing. Dropping 2 30,000-pound bombs too close together would reduce effectiveness as their blast waves interfere destructively. Meanwhile, 700 miles away, the Tomahawks launched from the USS Georgia enter their terminal phase. Each missile nose camera activates, comparing what it sees with stored imagery. The AN/DPW-23 scene matching system achieves lock, and the missiles make final course corrections.
A lot is getting to my head, guys. A lot is coming in. I just can't process it. Really? And Iran is finding out what you get when once you come out to the media and you make noise, make noise. I remember the president not really saying much like, "Oh, we're going to beat Iran," or like, even anytime when he threatens Iran, it's just so subtle that he doesn't really. But Iran is always like, "Oh, those Americans, we are going to give you an irreplicable response if you dare us." And the guys are getting whooped. Talk about military Operation Midnight Hammer.
They've been flying for 2 hours, burning through 350 pounds of fuel, following terrain like 20-foot-long homing pigeons. At Isfahan, the night shift workers hear them coming. Williams F-107 turbofans produce a distinctive whine at 550 miles per hour. But hearing them and stopping them are different problems entirely. The facility's Tor M1 point defense systems, already confused by American jamming, try desperately to achieve lock. Their engagement envelope is only 12 kilometers. At Tomahawk cruising speed, that's less than 49 seconds from detection to impact. The first Tomahawk strikes the hexafluoride storage building at 19:05 Eastern Standard Time. It's 1,000-pound unitary warhead designed for maximum blast effect. The explosion doesn't just destroy, it aerializes tons of uranium and hexafluoride, creating a toxic cloud that makes the facility uninhabitable. The next 29 missiles arrive over the following 45 seconds, each targeting specific buildings identified through years of intelligence work. The B-2s are already turning for home, their fuel calculations showing exactly 180,000 pounds remaining, enough to reach their tankers with regulation reserves. Behind them, 3 nuclear facilities burn in the night. Total time over target, 25 minutes. Not a single surface-to-air missile was launched. Not one Iranian fighter even attempted to get off the ground. The element of surprise was total. The mission execution was flawless. In the space of less than half an hour, Iran's nuclear program just got set back to square one. In 25 minutes, the U.S. military did what 7 prior presidential administrations couldn't do: take away Iran's nuclear capabilities for good. Bye for now.
The last thing, it did what 7 prior U.S. presidents couldn't do. And I would like to put up something, okay? I'm not a political person, but like Trump or not, he actually gets stuff done. Whether there are things that you don't like or things that you like, he's definitely going to get them done. And this is exactly what he does. I think back in 2019, he took out Qasem Soleimani, and everybody was so afraid. But this guy was such a menace to the Americans in the Middle East. And he actually got the guts to take him out. That aside, I did not know that there were hundreds of aircraft involved in this thing. Talk less of the type of operation. I was just like, oh, yeah, American took out their thing. Probably, maybe they launched the missiles in there, or the bombs, glide bombs, or whatever. So these guys went right to Iran and did a lot of things. You know, like it's not like Iran was just sitting there and was like, oh, we don't want to do anything. The thing, they could not actually do anything because they could not. America. I wish I had somebody to just sit here and watch this with me. But most people don't even watch US news here, so they don't know what is happening over there. So this might not really impress them, you know. But for those of my friends who do, if you show them this, they will say you are lying. They'll say, nah, it's just a hypothetical something. But I know you Americans, yeah, you do way more. So guys, please do subscribe, as I've already said 2 other times, and join my channel membership, and comment and like. I here on will call you guys my teachers, because I learn a lot from you guys, a lot, and there are a lot of other folks, experienced people here, a lot. Like, I'm just some dude with a vibe and a bit of knowledge, which allows me to be really impressed by what I see, because I can know how difficult it is to do a lot of these things. So thank you guys, and see you. God bless America.